Greetings. My name is Amber Booth-McCoy, and I'm a Senior Diversity Specialist in the UAMS Division for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. I don't know about you, but we are only 6 months into the year 2020, and it feels that there has been something that has either shocked and sometimes rocked our community every month, whether it was us fighting for the school district earlier this year, a global pandemic, and now we are facing as a nation unrest in regards to race and inequities. As humans have always done, we look to leadership for this time. We are looking for a guiding light sometimes in these dark times. So I wanted to catch up with our leader for the division, the Vice Chancellor of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, Dr. Gibbons. So here's our quick chat with him. Dr. Gittens, DDEI has statewide initiatives and responsibilities across the state in the realm of diversity, equity, and inclusion. I know that the division was already working hard during the pandemic, trying to make sure that there was access to information and, just making sure that the communities that were most vulnerable were informed and such. When we are dealing with national race issues like we're currently seeing, when we have unrest and riots, what is the role of a chief diversity officer, especially at an institution as large as UAMS?
Thanks, Amber, for that question. And first of all, I want to say hello to everybody out there. Again, I'm Brian Gittens, the Vice Chancellor for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion here at UMS. And I struggle, like many of my colleagues, with that very question. There's no silver bullet. I don't have an easy answer with regard to what we should be doing, how we should be feeling. I don't have an answer for systematic racism. I don't have a silver bullet. I don't have an answer for police brutality. I don't know what to tell my children. I have two boys who are hurting. What I do know is that, like you and like many people around, I'm vulnerable. I'm angry. I feel somewhat helpless. And I'm tired. I'm tired. And diversity work in general is already difficult. And I think events like this push us to the forefront. And while I say I'm tired, I can't afford the luxury of being tired and doing nothing. So while I don't know a lot of things, what I do know is that only through working together, only through hope and belief in a better place, because I think that's one of the hallmarks of leadership, is believing there's a better way, believing there's a better culture, believing in the possibilities. And I get up every day and I do this work because I believe in that possibility. Otherwise, my work is impossible. Otherwise, I'm wasting my time. I came to UMS, I moved my family to Little Rock. I took on this role for these moments and these possibilities, because it's incumbent upon us within the Division of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, and me personally as a man, as a Black man in a society, to continue to believe and continue to implore others to believe in our collective humanity. Because what I want to do is to make the racists, to make the people who are the oppressors, I want to make them the minority, not us. I want to make them the minority. That's the goal. And we can only do that by the majority of us coming together, the majority of us who believe in a greater way of being and pursuing that relentlessly.
One of my favorite quotes from Alice in Wonderland, she says, sometimes I believe 6 impossible things before breakfast. And I think that in this type of climate, those 6 things may be exactly what you were talking about. Those things that seem impossible, but are exactly what we need right now.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. I think it's possible, though. I do think it's possible, and because I believe in those possibilities. And in at UAMS, I look to our staff and our faculty and our students and the like to harness this energy and let's figure out how we can constructively move forward within our sphere. We can't necessarily solve the nation's issues, but for our corner of this world, right? How can we make it a better place? And sometimes that's as simple as looking at yourself and asking yourself, what can I do differently? How can I contribute? What can I do? Okay. And part of that is engaging with the division. Part of that is maybe in your community, or part of that is in the polling and the voting, voting for candidates that align with your value system. But I think all of us can do a part, and collectively, we can move forward.
One last question. Let's say we do the work and we come together and we are the majority. What does it look like when we are inclusive and there's a spirit of belonging? How will we know when we get there?
I think we get there when we're not having this conversation. We know we're there when we aren't talking about inequities. We aren't talking about groups being marginalized. We aren't talking about people being harmed. We're not talking about oppression. I think that's when we know we're there. Well, I like to get to a point where we can look back and we say, remember those bad old days when we used to deal with X, Y, and Z, and now we don't. Now the conversation has shifted, and we focus more on how we are alike than how we are different. I think that's how we'll know we're there.
Thank you, Dr. Gittens, for your words, your wisdom, and your leadership. To everyone else, as we continue to traverse 2020 and beyond together, let's commit to doing so together. Let's commit to making a tomorrow where society operates at its highest level possible for as many people as possible. A society where everyone can feel heard, valued, included, and like they belong. As always, you are welcome to contact the UAMS Division for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. We would love for you to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I am Amber Booth-McCoy, your favorite diversity specialist.